Well, hello, friend. This might look very different and might sound very different, and that is intentional because this is a meeting that we had about the Wandering Aimfully show. Excuse me, Wandering Aimfully, the show. Oh, we talk about everything when it comes to the show, but also we tried some fun new stuff involving multiple camera angles.
Yes. One thing you will notice after you watch this little intro clip is that you will see some sort of contraption around our microphones.
It's a shock mount.
That is called a shock mount. Yeah. I definitely knew that. And it's pretty much obstructing my face through the whole thing.
Well, you have a small face.
Thank you. But the important point to note is that we were experimenting with different camera angles. And so that was the point of the experiment, to find out, okay, we need to take off the shock mounts. So we just wanted to acknowledge that. And
if it's a little distracting,
hope it's not too distracting.
Just picture it like a captain's wheel and you're just looking through it to see our faces.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes
and
it's
I'm
annoying.
sorry that my face is so small.
Yeah. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this meeting. Hope you like this format because this is something we're going to talk more about in this meeting for the show that's upcoming. And yeah, that's it.
Enjoy. This is so easy.
Welcome to our unedited meeting where we're going to talk about the Wandering Aimfully show. And it is quite the setup right now.
I feel like I'm in a camera zoo. Like
I'm
boxed in.
A little bit of a camera zoo.
Yeah. Which I'm sure is like what actors feel like.
Yeah.
Where it's just like everywhere you look, it's just like people and cameras. I mean, there's not people here, but like I imagine them as here.
All right. Well, the one fun thing I have to remember to do is to check the that camera, the wide camera, you guys over there, at 30 minutes because that's as long as that one records.
Well, that seems like a limiting factor on that
camera.
That
is a limiting factor. All right, so the point of this video, this unedited meeting here is...
It's no longer an unedited meeting.
It's edited, isn't it?
It's going to be a little bit edited, but not content as much as camera angles.
Right.
Jason had the brilliant idea of setting up this 3-camera setup because that's how we want to set up the Wandering Aimfully, the show, that will be on YouTube as well as on our podcast. And we just wanted to have a little bit elevated of a production quality. We wanted to keep your interest, keep you watching. So largely inspired by Matt D'Avella and the format of his show, which is very beautiful and high quality, and I enjoy watching it. So Jason's idea was to set it up for this meeting and edit it and see what it looks like as sort of a test.
Yep, and we've got camera 1.
Hello.
We've got camera 2. And we have camera 3.
Hello.
I just said we've got. I always correct you when you do that. That was a bummer.
Know, that means that I'm slowly taking you to the dark side.
Now, here's a question. We're going to get into a whole bunch of topics and things regarding to our show. But
topics with an X.
I have one question. When we actually record the show, are you going to talk to that camera or are you going to talk to me?
I will talk to you. But I love talking to the camera. It's like, hey guys, you're here with us.
So that is the point though? Because I think that changes my thought process on where I put these cameras.
Oh, well, you just need to tell me what you want. So I can talk to this camera.
No, I don't want you to talk to that one at all. That's the thing. Like these are supposed to be, in my mind, they're the like
off camera.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't look at a camera.
Right. It's either me, maybe that one, but mostly me. Hey, Plax. No.
Here's what. So let's just get into it.
Yeah. This is trouble. No, come on, man. Come on.
Here's what I think.
The mascot, Plaxico, is trying to go through the cord forest.
It's a little bit different. I know you want that to be sort of the wide shot.
Yeah.
But there's something about like when we do our unedited meetings, I've sort of gotten accustomed to, and I very much enjoy speaking directly to the camera and to the people at home because it just feels like they're here with us.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to translate to the podcast. I have a feeling we're going to get a lot more listenership on the podcast than we will on the YouTube version of this.
Well, we definitely will, but... So you don't lose anything by speaking to, like, looking at the camera. Even, you know what I mean? Like if you listen to the audio of what I just said, the people listening via podcast would have no idea that I looked at the camera, but the people who are watching would feel like, oh, she acknowledged me.
Interesting.
So why don't we just do this for this meeting? Why don't you do whatever feels natural, looking at the camera,
moving
and then
around
as you edit, if you feel like it really. In the context of the show, of however you have it in your mind, if you feel like it's really distracting, then maybe we can assess at that point.
Do we want to talk about this real quick?
No.
All right. Okay, so let's go over the basics of this show.
Okay. Wait, did we already mention that the purpose of this meeting is just to iron out the details of the show?
If we didn't, now we did.
See, that's a great moment when you're going to look to camera.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wrote down some notes
All right.
while you were setting up. So, first in general is just topics, like things that we want to talk about. How do you envision it being very specific? Do you envision wow,
Yeah,
that
it's
was
a tough
hard.
one. Yeah.
Do you envision us teaching a topic? Do you envision us talking about a controversial topic with each other? Where do you envision the conversation topics?
Now, do you want me to answer each of these one by one, or do you want to go over all of these and then we'll kind of come back to them all?
Sure, I can give the people at home an idea. So we're going to go over some topics.
Yep.
Like, what do we want to talk about? We're going to go over general.
Make sure you stay on the mic.
General segments. And by segments, I mean, do we want anything else? There are a few we've brainstormed, which we may have told you about in other meetings. But do we want it to be just the conversation? Do we want little interludes? Like anything? Sky's the limit. What do we want our show to be?
Mm-hmm.
Sponsorships. How are we going to handle that?
Mm-hmm.
Time frame. Are we trying to keep the show to a certain time frame? Do we care about time at all?
What is time?
What is time? From Tag, time is just a construct.
Time is just a construct.
How many do we want to record before how many do we want to launch with? How many do we want to record over the summer before we even get it out there? Do we do any music intro, any like production value stuff? How do we make it different? How do we make it interesting? That's all I wrote.
Cool. So this is going to be a fun, evolving process for everybody at home to learn through this specific meeting, this specific video. But the first thing first, and I think I'm going to have to fight you on this for it's going to be, I think, a learning curve, is to stay up on the mic. So if you need to...
Okay, can I tell the people at home something, though?
You're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you need to, pull the mic closer to you so you don't have to lean over the table.
Thank God. I feel like I was in etiquette school.
Yeah, it's okay.
Can I be here?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, better.
So yeah, we want you basically French kissing that microphone.
I'm also really self-conscious about my posture, and I feel like the show is going to be
with a little
issue.
bit of tongue. Oh, why would you do that? That's gross.
I can't decide if it was grosser for people to watch that or listen to it, because it was like a little.
Well, hopefully these mics really,
Stop! Ew! Stop! I'm hearing it out loud, and I'm grossed out.
You know what's funny though? You moved the mic closer, but you still backed up.
I know, because I thought that was loud. No, that's a professional. Because I went louder.
I see what you're trying to do.
And then I went back, and then I went softer.
I see what you're trying to do.
It's like when Christina Aguilera, reaches the mic like way out
from
here.
Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge, the sequel to Mulan.
All right,
Disney's Mulan.
let's get into this and let's do some things.
Is this fine? Can we start with topics?
Yeah.
Cool.
So the idea when we first started talking about the Wandering Aimfully show was we would do basically one topic, but not unlike my internet boyfriend and I, Paul Jarvis, with our podcast, Invisible Office Hours. We kind of pick a topic and then we go on tangents from there. When we first talked about this, the idea was Wandering Aimfully through X, and that would be the topic for the show. And if we had a guide written about it, like we have Intentional Living as a guide that you've been working on for a long time, it could be a parallel. There's a lot of things we've talked about there. You want to extrapolate on them. You have more things. I feel like, we will have 117 articles on our website. We could pretty much talk about any of those things as a show episode in some capacity.
True.
And I don't mean that as like a guiding force for what we want to talk about.
You're just saying there's plenty there.
Yeah.
I understand that. I will share with you my hesitation that may or may not be warranted, which is our dog is trying to escape.
Yeah, I got him.
I know, but it's a conversation, so I just wanted you to be.
No, I'm leaving halfway through this. I got to go. I have an appointment.
The point that I was trying to make is, and you can tell me if you think that this is a fear that is unwarranted, but by making it the topic like blank, Wandering Aimfully through blank, we run the risk of going too broad on something, like Wandering Aimfully through food. We can talk about our journey with like becoming vegan and all this stuff, but it almost feels like then you're crossing that off the topic list. So then if we ever wanted to talk about something related to that, are you then circling back and going Wandering Aimfully through food? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, it could be Wandering Aimfully through food part 2. It
just doesn't leave a lot of room for like niching down in those things. Whereas something like just coming up with a topic, like I've seen a lot of podcasts do kind of the question format, right? So it's like, how do you guys work together or whatever? So let's take that as an example. Let's say we want to do an entire show about how we work together and things that we've learned to collaborate and stay married in the process. So that could be in the first category, that could be Wandering Aimfully through relationships. But in something more specific, you could say, how to work together as a creative married couple or whatever, right? So the thing is, through like SEO, the second one is definitely better.
Oh, for sure. I would never title it Wandering Aimfully Food.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was more just like, that's just the topic. Like for the podcast, I could see it being like,
the title of it?
Yeah, like food, money, like those types of things. Like I could see it that way. I'm not saying that it has to be that way. I'm fine with the question thing as well.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the exact same thing. I'm also not married to the second one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I just want to talk it out and be like, what makes the most sense? What gives us the most latitude? Also, it's probably a good thing to bring up is, are we going to do seasons, or do you see us like just doing it every week for as long as we possibly can?
Feels like we need to go to format land before we go to topic land.
Let's go to format land. I also, the way you said that was like, feels like we need to go to our like
Purd happily.
And I pictured you like, let's kick it over to Purd.
I'm gonna go ahead and just take a moment to make sure that we're still recording on all devices. How did you still get a notification? I don't understand that. That was weird.
It's my superpower.
Yeah, that your phone still gets notifications and it's in airplane mode. It's very odd. Tried to turn that off. I'm back. They probably could barely hear me. No.
Oh, cool. Okay,
format
land.
So in my mind of minds, I had thought an introduction to the episode where we recap. Excuse me. So it's like, hey, in this episode, we discussed and we hope you really enjoy that. And then move into
the conversation.
Well, no, move into the sponsor read, whatever that is. So I think in the beginning, that's just going to be Wandering Aimfully membership promotion. So that's that. And then from there, we go intro music clip, whatever that is, something short and fun that's memorable, hopefully. He's an armchair expert.
It's just the armchair expert theme song.
But we changed he to they. Like we'll just overdub that.
They're armchair experts.
So it's
God, that was bad.
Yeah, we're great. And it was harmony too. It's kind of amazing. So we have that. Then we go episode.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, we have a segment that we want to do.
Yeah.
Which maybe we're going to be telling the folks at home now.
Yeah.
I feel like we have really built it up. It's not going to be that exciting for people, but that's okay. And then we have maybe an outro of some sort or just some outro music to like end it. That's all.
Okay. I think that's fine.
Uh-huh.
Worth bringing up at this juncture is that the format that everyone does.
It's fairly common, that format, for sure.
Right. Are we fine with that? Are we not fine with that? There's a reason it works, like, you know, that's why people do that, because I know, for me at least, yeah, like I want to get to the conversation. I don't want something crazy. I also, yes, I love super produced podcasts like Invisibilia or whatever, but like we're not NPR. So it's not feasible to do like sound mixing and like, story arc and stuff like that.
I almost feel like what we do is we commit to a format that we know we can do and that we like listening to ourselves. And we go, okay, this is where we're starting and we can let it evolve from there. This is not our like final format. It's not a permanent fixture.
And if we feel like it's not interesting enough or different enough, we can always kick it up a notch, change it up.
So let's break down the format, each one of those items into a further item.
Okay.
And some of these may be very simple. So introduction, we are going to record that every time.
At the end?
Probably at the end.
Okay.
In which case, I think what we'll do is just literally turn ourselves to this camera and that'll be the intro, especially for the video.
Okay.
So that's what we'll do.
Okay.
If I'm feeling frisky, I might move it forward a little bit and might get closer to you and we would, but I don't know. That seems like extra work.
I feel like you feel frisky quite a bit.
Whoa. Wandering aimfully through Friskies. This episode brought to you by Friskies. Don't feed your cat that food. It's not real food.
That'd be funny if we did not sponsor reads.
Yeah.
If we had a sponsor read, but then a not sponsor read.
Is it us?
Don't you dare support Friskies.
Is it us taking a dump on companies? Is that what we're doing?
First of all, taking a dump is not a phrase that I would like to bring into this household.
Oh. I thought this was going to be real, you know? Just like, I don't have to hold back. I can just be me.
Yeah, but guess what? If the cameras weren't on, you know what I'd be saying? I don't think taking a dump is the phrase that we need to bring into this household.
So it's good. So we're leaving that in. So so this episode, we're taking a dump on, oh no. I thought we'd figured it out. I thought
you read it wrong.
Oh, I read it wrong. Oh.
Okay, so that's fine. And then the sponsor read in the beginning is really just us saying like, hey guys,
yeah, and I think
Wandering Aimfully membership.
I think we re-record that every time, so it sounds fresh. It's not a reused thing. And I think we try and keep it to like 30 seconds or so.
Okay.
And then music. So let's go down this route. Do you want like the Action Army, which my buddy Matt kind of had a voiceover on it? It was like a little bit of a song-y thing. Or do you just want like a little bit of a jingle of some sort?
Well, first of all, I like music because it sets the tone in a way. So in my mind, whereas your Action Army podcast music was very, I don't want to say it was very masculine, but it was very like, let's get stuff done. Like,
absolutely.
You
want something that's like, in the arms.
Yeah, I wonder if we can get Sarah McLachlan just whip something up real quick.
I feel like she's available.
No, but I think something a little bit more whimsical and a combination of the both of us, like upbeat, whimsical. Like I want people to feel uplifted and energized, I think is a good word, when they hear that music and they're like, oh, I'm going to hear an interesting conversation. It's going to make me think. It's going to like get me excited for my day or, you know, my walk or wherever I'm listening to this or watching it.
Mm-hmm. So just music. Like a little like 15-second sting. Not 15 seconds of Sting, the artist. A 15-second sting.
A collab between Sting and Sarah McLachlan.
Oh, wow.
Definitely not us. We're not good at singing at all. That's a good question, Jason. I don't know. Like, what are like? You mean like a jingle, like Wandering Aimfully, the show?
Yeah, like if there was someone in our community or someone that we had like a connection to, or that we could find that like produces.
I'm so not a musician that in my head everything I'm thinking of is very bad.
Yeah. No, that's why you get an expert like Matt or someone like that. You wouldn't use Matt because he's probably skews masculine, but you find someone who could do a more agnostic.
I'm not opposed. Can you potentially, as an action item after this,
go on Fiverr and just get someone from India to make...
No, like do a little bit of maybe research of just some jingles that you like or some podcast music that you like.
Armchair expert.
Well, besides armchair expert.
Yeah.
He's an armchair expert.
They had like a 5-person band record that. It's kind of crazy.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
It sounds fantastic.
It's just a lot of love to Dax on this episode. Okay, so music we will possibly theme or just
music.
Yeah, so maybe make a note there.
I do know what I don't want is it to be like a free YouTube jingle thing that a lot of people have.
Right. So we'll use an iMovie one.
It's just, a lot of YouTube videos I watch, they have the same music, which is fine. Like we've done that before.
Jingle jangle.
But for something that's going to live on this much, like I want it to be good and different.
So music, why don't you just put in parentheses theme song or just audio track?
I mean, if we're gonna split hairs here.
Yeah, it's fine. Come on, we're not splitting hairs. All right, so conversation. So this goes back to topic. Yeah, I think we just go with what is natural for us, and I think we just pick an overarching topic that we want to talk about, and we record, and we go down some tangents, and we have some fun, and we be silly, and just kind of like these conversations.
I think this is still the biggest question mark for me, though. Is it a broad topic or a specific topic?
Give me two. Maybe it's either. We don't think we have to pick.
A broad topic is food.
Politics.
Yeah. Wouldn't you love to see a politics combo with both of us? No, but a broad okay, let's take politics just for fun. A broad topic is politics.
Yeah.
A specific topic is
your love of Fox News.
Do you talk about politics in your business?
Right.
Why or why not?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like you kind of set it up where that is the specific question, and then wherever the tangents go from there, they go there. Versus if you just say politics, probably that question would be included in there. I guess it's really...
I think it's just we go one way or the other.
Semantics.
Yeah.
It's just like we just decide, and I'm sure in both scenarios, I'm sure the conversation will go very...
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I still think that we should sit down after this, or maybe during this, and write down, once we set up our little schedule of what we're going to try to get in the hoppa. I think we should brainstorm topics. And
Oh
just
yeah,
say,
yeah,
like,
totally.
This is
I
what I wanna talk
thought we
about.
might do that today, but
Let's do it. What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's iron out the rest of it. We can come back. Topics will be our dessert.
Frisky. Told you it was frisky. Okay, so that's all we really need to know on the combo part.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, time frame though. How are we going to try and keep these to a certain time?
I don't think it matters. I think we record as long as it takes us to get our views out there.
I also wrote down potentially doing an Action Essentials mini-sode, like mini episode every month or something.
Harkening back to the old Action Essentials. So this was, for those of you who don't know, this was a 1 episode a month that we recorded on my Action Army podcast that existed before this, in which you and I would talk about something that's helping us take action in our lives, in our businesses, and then one thing that we wanted people to stop taking that action, which we had a little audio sting for. I think that's fun. I don't, and again, this is where I wonder, is that its own episode, or does that fit into this episode? Like,
right. Is that another
episode.
segment, basically?
Right. So here's the other.
I always have such a hard time coming up with those that I feel like on a weekly basis, I might run out of ideas.
Right.
It's like not that much changes week to week.
And that could just be the honest
Things tend to
thing.
change month to month, though.
Could just be the honest thing. Like every week we could be like, is anything helping you take? And be like, no, not really, not this week. And be like, oh, okay, cool, not for me either. Moving on.
I guess that's true.
The one thing I was just going to mention, and
Mention it.
this is just throwing it out there. So this camera, the main camera,
Hi.
only records 29 minutes and 59 seconds at a time.
Okay.
Now, one thing we could think about is that
keeping the combo to
keeping our convo to that amount of time, and then the next recording that we do is the next segment.
If I'm being honest, you and I are both long-winded as hail, and I do not think that we are going to say what we want to say.
Listen,
within 29
if I
minutes.
can't talk about taking a dump, then you can't talk about
taking
breaking
a
wind.
stump. Guys, he's so cute. No.
Just so everyone knows, potty humor will be very prevalent on this podcast.
I'm not gonna lie. Potty humor plays pretty well in our house.
I'm feeling like it's gonna. What kind of rating do you want for this show? Like
NC-13.
here's better question: is there gonna be brief nudity or nudity?
Sometimes I like brief nudity better because it's just like a little taste.
It's like a little something. It's like a little whisper.
Like Game of Thrones, and they're like brief nudity, and I'm like, well, you guys did not go for it on this one.
No. Okay. Anyway, so yes, Action Essentials could be a weekly segment as well, and we can figure that out. So maybe that's
which is really just glorified like recommendations.
Right.
I always love a good recommendation.
Right.
Something else to bring into
Now
my
it
life
could
to
just
add
be
value.
instead of doing life, business, and stop taking that action, we could just go with
a favorite.
just a favorite of the week or
Got it.
something. So just one favorite of the week for each of us. Okay.
I like that.
So you want to add fave of the week in there?
When do you want to do that in our format?
I think that happens at the end of the combo, and then we have our other segment that we want to do.
Hey, it's kind of like our Get Up On. Is that cheating?
No. Get Up On This is another podcast that we both really like, that we've listened to for years, and their show is essentially just about getting you up on things that are cool or interesting, but it's more in pop culture, not in like entrepreneurship and working for yourself and building an intentional life that matters to you.
You say it with that kind of sarcastic tone, but you believe it.
But that's the voice you want me to use. Now, on the
what if our jingle is just all
podcast.
Whispers? Whisper.
Welcome to Wandering Aimfully.
Okay.
This is our show.
That's enough.
Okay.
So then we did that.
So the segment that we alluded to a little while ago, and that we, I think is fun.
Yes.
Each episode.
Yes.
Hold on, let me make sure these cameras are rolling because I don't want to go down this.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
You're the worst at overselling it. Like you set it up so much, and then it's like.
It's called drama. It's called creating a little bit of drama.
And then it's like, wow.
That's how you feel, but I think everybody at home also, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this part.
Hashtag fishing for compliments.
Fishing for compliments. The segment is, each week, one of us will bring something to the show that the other person doesn't know about that we have Googled for the other person.
Yeah.
Where this came about was we were talking about something and the piggy bank came up.
Yeah. And I remember,
Yeah.
I was like, where in the world did that phrase piggy bank come from? Like,
Yeah.
why is it a pig?
Yeah.
And why do you put money in it?
So I Googled it and found the origin, which I now forget completely.
Can I butcher it? I remember somewhat.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was something related to a long time ago.
Aztecs. I remember Aztecs.
It was Aztecs.
Yeah.
They would make clay pots
Yeah.
to like put money in, and the type of clay was called like
Pig,
pig. I think
P-Y-G-G.
P-Y-G-G-E or something. And then it just sort of like
So
spiraled.
here's
and
what we're
evolved
not.
into
Here's what
piggy.
we're not going to do.
What?
So we're not going to have this type of interaction with.
No, we did.
We're
We
gonna-
are. No, we talked about this.
No. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll let you get to it.
Okay.
Let's say that I'm the one who's like, hey, I Googled this for you this week. And
Where
you go,
does
what
the
is
term
it?
piggy bank
You
come
go,
from?
what is it? And I go, piggy bank. Do you know where that comes from?
And then I make it up.
And then you go, all right, here's my best shot.
Yeah.
And then we can laugh hysterically and it'll be fun.
And we'll be together forever.
And gross. And then I will have the actual answer that I can share with everybody
Yep.
so that it's hopefully a fun and like silly, lighthearted segment.
And
but also,
you get really good like little cocktail tidbits that you can like disperse at your next social
like if you get
function.
nothing else from the Wandering Aimfully show, you fast forward to like the last 2 minutes and it gives
we
you
Googled that for you.
the little we Googled that nugget.
We Googled that.
So WGTFYN.
rolls off the tongue.
What's that?
What a fuck. Ooh.
What a fugan.
Woodafugan.
It's close. That's
Woodafugan.
I don't know if that brings the explicit
I think
tag.
it's actually woog.
What's that?
We
Yeah.
Googled that for you.
Nugget at the end is fun. Yeah.
Woog.
Wugtefjun.
I can't. It
Woog
hurts
defjung.
my brain.
Wugtefjung.
Woogdefin.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Probably not going to use that
no,
acronym.
we'll come up with something better.
Probably not. Okay, so anyway, that's the segment at the end
Yeah.
that we think is going to be really fun. I don't know, maybe the whole show would just evolve into just that, and that'd be kind of interesting.
And then we do the outro.
And then we do the outro, which can, I think, just be music. Like when we're doing the We Googled
Yeah.
that for you, we're just like, all right,
we
everybody,
say bye.
thanks so much. If you enjoyed this show, go leave a review on iTunes.
Don't
you
forget
gotta
to tip your waitress.
shill for reviews. Now, here's a fun question. Do we want to do anything to entice our listeners to do reviews? One thing we talked about, do you remember what we talked about? Is that
Yes.
All right, what did we talk about?
Didn't we say if you review our show,
No matter how many stars.
no matter how many stars, send us you'll send us a screenshot. We will send you a postcard with a review of your review.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really like it. I really like.
It's ridiculously silly, but I think it would be fun.
You're going to be writing postcards for the rest of time.
Listen, the Action Army existed for 2 years, the podcast,
And we'll just
and I
call-
had like 100 reviews.
Okay.
So like, I'm
well,
not
yeah,
worried
but you
about
didn't
it.
have this great incentive. So we'll just call it reviewing reviews.
Reviewing reviews. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down.
And if we get a really good one, then maybe we'll talk about it, you know?
Yeah, I think we feature one.
Maybe.
So then you got to like make your review really thoughtful
You got to make it good.
or just review it.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Okay, so the only thing left. So we actually had a pretty good idea of what we were doing. Now that I'm realizing, and the only question is, how many do we want to launch with? We could talk a little bit about like our process.
You stay.
We already did this with our last unedited meeting. We're going to record on Tuesdays, I believe.
I think so going
You're
forward.
going to
Yep.
edit Tuesday nights and then Wednesday mornings, I think.
Yep.
And then Wednesdays or something. But can we agree that we're going to release them on Mondays?
Yep.
Okay. So that's Mondays on all the podcast platforms.
And if you're sleuthy, they'll probably go up Sunday night. Wink.
Don't you
Wink.
Mondays. So that's the podcast, and then the videos will be published on Mondays as well. We will probably publish some type of tidbit on
You want to talk about the nugget?
the nugget.
All right. So, yeah, I think that kind of wraps up the show for itself, format, et cetera. We'll talk about how many we want to have recorded, et cetera.
Yep.
But one thing we talked about, which again, we are stealing from Matt Develop because I think it just is a great way to do this,
Steal with pride
is
and
if
with
there's something in the episode that we really liked, that was like a really good anecdote, a really good idea, a really good thought, we want to both have a little notepad. You have a notepad now, I don't. But we would have a little notepad and we would just jot that down to be able to pull that segment out and reuse it in its own 3 to 6 minute video on YouTube. And now that may not happen every episode, but I think the goal is that we get a shorter hey, here's this idea, this thing we talked about that hopefully helps you in some way, person listening to this show, or just being subscribed to our YouTube channel, and that video becomes a less of a sitting here talking head, more of a, hey, we talked about this, now let's go and produce that video in itself. If we want to pull a little bit of this conversation into it, kind of like Matt does, we will, but really we're thinking about that as like its own produced video.
Yeah. And also that just comes from a place of being smart about the fact that if you're going to sit down for an hour and have content like this, you might as well repurpose it in as many different packaged ways as you possibly can. I was thinking another easy way to do it would be to take that, and we already have this on our calendar that we blocked off, but take that clip and publish it on IGTV too. Like that's a super easy, and maybe that's just what our IGTV thing is, hey, you can consume all those nuggets. They're going to be hopefully under 5 minutes. If you wanted to just get some quick hits, you know. Yeah,
we just have to figure out how we do that because that's a vertical orientation. And
well, I was thinking about that, but if we needed to reformat it using some of the apps that I have where it's like, it's not ideal because it's not fully integrated, but
we'll figure that out. Can we also syndicate it to HGTV?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think they're really up for us.
I think we need a two-pronged IGTV, HGTV strategy.
There goes that. All right. We get that going again. Clip number 2. Okay.
I think we need a two-pronged approach, IGTV, HGTV strategy.
So here's the fun thing about that whole situation. What? I'm appreciative that you re-said your line.
Yeah.
But the idea was that this would have been capturing you, so they wouldn't have even have known that that stopped.
Well, then you don't have to use it.
Mind blown.
Or you can show the whole thing twice.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
Why?
I don't know. Just I'm feeling it today.
I wouldn't do that.
No, it's not recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have questionable judgment. The last thing. Oh, when are we going to publish those? Did we talk about that?
I think we had said maybe. I don't remember.
I think you said you were going to edit them on Thursdays.
So maybe Friday.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. The nugget.
The nugget.
Which
also kind of reminds me of the big fat takeaway from our blog post, which is like that in video form.
Right.
BFT, baby.
Yeah.
Love our acronyms, you know? Okay, so the last thing is, how many do you want to try to record before we launch?
And then we'll get to dessert where we actually get a couple topics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Topics.
I would really like to have 6 to 8 episodes recorded and ready to be edited ahead of time.
But listen, that means let's say we launch it the week, or maybe were we going to launch it before or after we launched the membership?
I would like to try and launch it before. I think we have the recording schedule set up. I don't have my laptop and my phone is right there. I think we had the recording schedule like 2 or 3 weeks beforehand.
Get our dog to stop licking his butt. Here, man. Guys, Plax is having a real itchy paw issue right now.
He just has some, everyone gets allergies, okay? Leave him alone.
I know.
Okay. I think we should start the show a couple weeks before.
Okay.
Because I think it would be good to do the about episode, and then maybe the week that we launch, we have we're launching a big project. We made this big transition. Like, how do you do that? What are the things we did? Like, kind of talk about that.
So you launch with what? Just 2? The about episode and the...
Oh, that's a good question, too.
So that's what I'm saying. If we launch with 3, then we kind of need 6 to 8, add 3 to that, is what we're really talking about.
Oh, snap.
Snappers.
Snap.
Let's say 10.
Wow. Okay, cool. I'm
10
down.
recorded. That means even if we decide to launch with 3, then we'll have 7. We'll have 7 weeks after that.
Now, for anybody who's wondering, like, oh, hey guys, what's your podcast launch strategy? I don't think we actually really care. Do we care?
No. Our whole thing with this podcast is that one day it would be great if we get new kind of people in the top of our sifter from that, but it's not what the intention is. It's really for people who are already sort of in our ecosystem, want to deepen their relationship, want to hear more about what we have to say. So we're not trying to have like a big splash. We're not trying to make it on any lists.
Yeah, I think if anything,
just want really good content.
I think if anything, what we would do the week before we launch, so that's April 22nd is the week that we launch. The week before
April,
that,
huh? We're just next year.
Maybe August. They're the same letter, Did you know that JASON, my name, is in the months in the year? Did you ever know that?
You mean the first letter of each of your...
Yeah. July, August, September, October, November.
Oh, you mean in a row?
Yeah.
Babe, that's cuter.
Did you know that?
No.
Really?
Did you know that?
Yeah. It's always been like a fun thing, like the calendar months, like say my name.
That's
Say my
adorable.
name, say
Is there
my name.
is there any other name that does that?
No.
You don't know that. You haven't thought about it.
I mean, Sun. If you're
Jan.
named Sun Little.
No, that's the...
That's actually an abbreviation for January. Okay. Anywho, so August 22nd, we're launching. So
Yeah.
the week before, what we might do is send a dedicated email about the show.
Yeah, of
Go leave a
course.
review on iTunes. There's a couple episodes up for your ear balls to enjoy.
Oh, but now I just thought about that, and it's not going to have like a place to live yet.
Oh, you mean on the site?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. It's on it like if anything, people will just go, oh, it's on iTunes, it's on Stitcher, it's on blah blah blah, and it's on YouTube. And then when the website launches, we go, hey, it's also on the website.
Okay, here's a real question. Do you think it's better to do it before so that people get excited about the membership launch, the site launch, or wait like 3 weeks after the launch so that we have like another thing to get people excited about? Like, when do you think it has bigger impact?
That's interesting. I'm surprised nothing came out of my nose on that.
I think something came out of mine.
Gross.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a toughie.
Because part of what I was saying before is we all know how the whole launch game goes. You get all excited. We're going to have memberships open. Hopefully we get our 30 people in that time frame. And we've had all this build up. And then like 3 weeks after that, people are going to be like, what's new? So do we launch it in September is just an idea.
Wow, that really throws a whole monkey wrench in things. Could also give me some more time to make some more moolah for extra camera gear.
Gearhead.
Peculiar. Yeah, I think it's good. I'm to wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well, my brain,
I think so.
my brain immediately started
yeah.
thinking about like, well, what are we going to put on YouTube up until then?
What we've been putting on YouTube this whole time. Meetings and cool stuff. Things that we're doing.
Everyone's tired of this stuff.
No, they're not.
They want sexy, exciting videos.
Sexy. I go either way.
All right. I think we go September because I think you're right. I think we need some freshness after that.
Okay. Plus, truthfully, we both know fall is like just a better time in general for online business. So we run the risk of launching this show in like, let's say middle of August, and people are like scrambling, still end of summer, traveling, back to school, yada, yada.
Our dog keeps trying to go through the cord forest, in which case probably have to solve that problem.
I need to tell you that your snaps go to my core.
They're thick.
They're thick.
Thick snaps.
Hashtag thick snaps.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Send us your...
We're Thick Snaps. This is our first hit single. Fingers. How was it?
Fingers.
How was it?
With a U.S. Fingers.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I feel good about that. Launching in September. Show laid out, format-wise. Nugget. 10 episodes.
Words, phrases, things that I've written down.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
All right.
Okay.
Topics.
Oh,
Dessert.
topics. Yeah. Give me
You
some.
want to write down 10 topics?
10 topics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
You
6,
space those out so terribly.
7, 8.
Oh, gosh. Your letter. Oh, you rewrote it. Ew. I'm not even gonna just look at that. That's terrible. All right, let me look at these cameras while you talk about the first topic.
Well, I definitely think we could talk for an entire episode about how things that we've learned in working together and living together.
Okay. Now, do we want a whole episode just on working together and then a whole episode on living together, like separate?
No, I think it's working and living together
Okay.
and not killing each other.
Okay. Food.
And like healthy eating.
Yeah, like I think our journey through food and like the diets we've tried and the things that we've changed and how we came to those things and the
slow.
Yeah.
And our food, like also we freaking love food.
Oh yeah.
So I think we need to talk about that as well.
Yeah, we really like food.
Okay. My turn. I would say our decision to move across the country.
That's messed up. I was just thinking change. And that
Change is too big.
I know, but that was part of it. Like I was
Right, like making a big life change.
Yeah. Wow. Ugh, it's embarrassing.
Okay.
We're going to need to get like a little cafe table because I don't think this setup is going to be comfortable for us.
I will strangle you physically. And it won't kill you because my hands are very tiny and your neck is very big and I am not that strong. And my wrist hurts.
Amputate. Okay, so change. Intentional living, is that too broad?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, take one aspect of it.
Oh man, lighting. That's atrocious. That's gonna be bad.
I have one if you want me to go.
Well, I'd like to talk about money.
Okay. Now, do you want it to be specifically debt or like how we manage our money or both? I think those could be separate.
Yeah, I think debt. I think our debt story.
Okay.
And then probably do another one that's separate that's about how we manage our money.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about like the financial guys and what that journey has been like.
Yeah.
And our budget meetings and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't really done any like business things. I would say.
I mean, we could talk about business models that we've tried and like things we've done.
Yeah, I like that.
And go over like client work, working 9 to 5s, I wear your shirt life.
I think that's actually a really fun one. I one time listened to Hillary Rushford on a podcast and it was like 27 different ways I've made money. And it's just super interesting to be like, I did this. I did, you know what I mean? Like you start to write it down and you're like, holy crap, we've tried a lot of different ways to make money.
We just wrote these all out for the website, but we've done 42 total projects.
Yeah.
And really I lumped everything in the I wear your shirt time into I wear your shirt. So that alone could have been like 5 or 6 projects within that.
Well, exactly. And not to mention, doing your like sponsored road trip, not to mention me doing like brand coaching, brand design, website, like all the different
So
stuff.
what I was going to say is we could talk about those 42 projects and touch on them.
Is that different than business models we've tried? It's a little bit the same.
It's a little bit the same. I meant more for this one specifically is to talk about like, I don't know, maybe a better episode would be our failed projects and what we learned from them.
Mm-hmm. Failures. I think ways, like something about.
Where are you right now?
I'm out there.
Okay.
Okay. Something framing around the idea of like things that were hard for us in the beginning that we learned to get better at. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking of like perfection for me in the beginning of not wanting to put things out there, but then just getting a lot better at just putting out a lot of different stuff. I don't know how that fits in. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a whole conversation about, I mean, I don't know if you can relate to this feeling called self-doubt. Like, I don't know if you know what that is.
I think it's self-doubt's a really good episode.
Okay. Now, are you going to be able to contribute to that episode?
I'll Google some stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
If you could read a few books.
I'll get some. Wikipedia's probably got lots on this.
Okay. Just maybe act.
Are we going to talk about this?
Nope.
Okay.
2
more eps.
Yeah.
Travel, maybe?
Yeah.
Share some travel stories and fun things like that.
And I think
it'd be really silly to do. This is my idea of that I wrote in my podcasting article that I'm currently working on, which was like, you know, it'd be a terrible idea for a podcast is explaining how to put IKEA furniture together. Because it's like it's visual. It's a visual thing. But I was just thinking like our travel stories, if we like recounted going to Italy on the podcast, it'd be so terrible because it's like, guys, and then we went to like this thing and then it was great. But then I was like, oh, I think you could do that and it would still be fun.
You say that, but that's actually like what dinner parties are, where people are like, oh, we just got back from Italy and here's what we did. That's actually what that is. I was just thinking meditation was one that just came up. Like you don't meditate. I on and off.
I don't meditate
sometimes.
by the definition of it, which I wrote an article about you don't have to meditate.
But I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like how do you, I also was listening to a podcast article with my friend Ann Shen and my other friend Tiffany Hahn, and Ann was talking about how she meditates all the time, and she's like, sometimes I cheat. I meditate in the shower, but I just am present and I do the whole guided meditation, but I'm doing it while I'm showering, and that's quote unquote cheating, but like I'm doing it and I'm being present for that. And I thought that's a great little tidbit is like, you don't have to do it the way that people, you have to sit on the pillow. You don't have to do,
that's what I wrote in that article.
You can do whatever works for
you.
you.
That's why I wrote that article.
Okay.
Also, Ann needs to stop wasting so much water, and we're in a drought.
And,
okay.
Well, I think she was going to shower anyway.
We're still in a drought.
Let's just keep going.
Nope. let's stop it there because, watch this, fishing for compliments.
Give us topic ideas.
Yeah, what do you guys want us to talk about? So if you listened this far to this video, then you give a shit and you care and you want to know and you have ideas and you have thoughts. So leave a comment on YouTube. And if it's something that you maybe don't want to leave a comment, like maybe you feel embarrassed asking, you can send us an email. You know how to get a hold of us, I'm sure. But we'd love to know in the comments, what are the things that you're like, oh, I really wish they would talk about this, or this would be a fun thing to like hear them talk about.
I think we should also go back through our Sleeping with the Boss episodes and look at those topics, because I think it'd be really interesting to re-discuss those topics now 4 years later.
Now, did you save those anywhere?
On the website. Doesn't exist anymore?
No.
On SoundCloud. They still exist on SoundCloud.
No.
We took it down.
Close that account, yeah.
They exist somewhere.
I have them.
You can't be like, they don't exist. I have them.
No, it's just a little exercise to show the people who keeps the files.
Guys, everybody, listen closely. Jason keeps the files.
You heard it here first. I don't know. Okay. That sounds good. I'm excited for what the folks might bring up for us. And
I also wanted to remind you that I changed the naming to Wandering Aimfully, the show, so that people could just call it Wandering Aimfully. Like, do you listen to Wandering Aimfully?
Yeah.
So it's just like the brand is Wandering Aimfully, the podcast is Wandering Aimfully. If you want to know how to talk about it, it's Wandering Aimfully.
I will say the one thing we are going to have to be cognizant of, I'm not too worried about it on this video because this video is not like, I mean, it's an unedited video, so it doesn't really matter. But those lighting changes will drive me insane in the editing process.
What do you want to do?
So we're just going to really have to make sure that it's like a bright blue day, or if it's cloudy, I'm going to have to set the camera differently. So I'm just saying it for like the producer here.
Do you want to...
And the best boy.
And the key grip.
Yeah.
Do you want to consider curtains on that? But then we don't get any natural light.
No. I love the natural light. We just have to make sure that we can get a consistent, or I have to change the setting on the camera. That's all. That's the, yeah. That's the topic.
Good to know.
All right, let's wrap this up because it's going to take me so long to edit this video because I'm actually going to edit these clips in to see how that goes.
I can't wait to see what it looks like.
So hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a comment if you have ideas or topics that you want us to discuss on
Please do that.
Wandering Aimfully, the show.
Good job,
and look forward to it every Monday starting in September, which will be exciting.
It's going to be technically a different setup because we're going to get a cafe table because I'm not sitting like this for an hour every time.
Wow,
not
that's
doing
exciting.
I know. IKEA, here we come.
Oh man, I love IKEA.
Bye.
Bye.